Welcome to Redneck Outfitters 1. Got a rare day off of work today, and actually had some storm damage to clean up, some limbs and whatnot. Got them cut up and burned up. So I had some more time, so I thought, well, I guess I'll hang out here and work on the bitch formerly known as a Volkswagen. This thing's testing my patience real bad. I've been trying to bleed these brakes, this whole brake system. It's all new brake system. I just can't get the pressure built up. I was trying the old bleed method, you know, somebody in there pumping and holding and breaking the bleeder screws, and wasn't seeming to work real well, but it just wouldn't build up pressure. So I thought, well, I'll go to Harbor Freight. I ended up getting one of these little pump method. It actually worked fairly well. It's tough on your hands, especially if you got arthritic hands. It's a lot of pumping to try to get this going, but it seemed like it was working. I mean, it's bleeding fluid. Basically, you got your tube that goes on your bleeder screw, you got your cup, you got your pump and a gauge, and basically you put it on there, you pump it up till you get about 15 pounds of pressure or so, and then break the bleeder screw, and you just keep pumping to keep the pressure up, and it sucks the brake fluid out through the bleeder. And like I said, it was working fairly decent. It's kind of hard to use if you're one man and you don't tie this stuff up or something. Basically, I got a box and set this little socket up on a box. It's nice and heavy. It'll hold this like here, keep it from falling over. Much better. But it's still kind of difficult to use for one person to hold everything. And you know, I've seen a lot of guys that'll take wires or something and kind of tie these tubes up out of the way, hold this steady where they can just reach up and grab it. Good idea. But I wasn't getting the results. So what we did the only thing we normally do. We went back to Harbor Freight. We bought this Holt air-operated brake bleeder. That ought to do it, right? Got a refill kit and everything else. Unfortunately, the refill kit is not made to go on this Volkswagen's master cylinder. Basically, you fill this thing up, and you can put it up on your, let me put this box down. Put it on your master cylinder, clamp it with this little screw here, and then this is actually in your master cylinder, in the fluid. You can open this up, and it will keep the constant filling. It won't overfill it. As you're bleeding this out, it'll flow down here, keeping your master cylinder full. Well, of course it won't fit, so we had to modify that a little bit. You can get a can, you know, a regular can of brake fluid, mess around with the lids, get it set where you could use that, or you can just keep an eye on it and constantly fill it old style. So this thing has comes with this big old jug here. Got the inlet valve for your air. I think it runs 90 to 120 pounds of pressure. And basically you got this hose goes on your bleeder screw. You got a couple of adapters. You got some other stuff in there, but like I said, it won't work with my application, but you hook your supply up, you hook this up to your bleeder screw, turn your air on from your compressor, open this valve, feeds air through here, creates a vacuum, which again sucks out your brake fluid once you break the bleeder screw open. Problem I was having, it wasn't working, and I don't know that I saw in the instructions, but I thought, I wonder if I put a little bit of brake fluid in here, if that would help it create the suction, because this is supposed to be your return, and brake fluid goes back in this collector. But once I put the fluid in there, it seemed to really pick up the vacuum and was pulling the brake fluid through. So it was actually working pretty well. And I got to doing all four and went in. I still didn't have pressure. But I could see by refilling the master cylinder that it was pulling fluid through. And I wasn't getting a lot of bubbles. It was mostly fluid. But as I went around my second round, starting with the back right, working my way around like you're supposed to, I got to the driver's side front, and as I was trying to put my bleeder screw, tighten it back down to close it off, it wasn't going. And I thought, uh-oh, I've either stripped the bleeder screw or the wheel cylinder is stripped. And it's a brand new wheel cylinder, brand new bleeder screw. So I actually got the bleeder screw out, and I'm looking at it, and the threads they look like they've been used, gone in, gone out, whatever, but they didn't look bad. And so I thought, well, what am I going to do? Now I'm leaking brake fluid. All the brake fluid I got in this system, I'm bleeding it out here. So I hurried up, ran down to Ace Hardware, and got me a bolt, because I knew they didn't have a bleeder screw available. Tried to put that in there, it wasn't working correctly. So basically it's out of brake fluid there in the front, and God knows what else, but it got low enough that it quit leaking. And so I'm going to have to start all over, but I'm going to have to either get a new wheel cylinder, or at least take this one off and look at it real good to make sure, I can't solve that problem, because I don't think it's the bleeder screw. But, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back, whatever you want to say. She's still giving me fits. I had everything wired electrical, I thought. I actually had it running. It'll crank over now, but I can't get it to start, so I'm not sure if I blew another fuse somewhere I haven't found yet. I have to get back on that wiring issue. I keep blowing the fuse when I turn on the emergency switch, which I don't care if the emergency switch don't work or not, but I'm hoping I won't ever have to use it. But I've got an electrical issue I got to track down. I got to mess with that. I still got the cable to adjust, the clutch cable. But I was trying to work on these brakes, and now I know, I think, why I was not getting pressure. It's leaking by that screw. The funny thing is, I was not leaking fluid. I never had any fluid on the floor. So I don't get it. If it was just not tight enough, it was letting a little air in the system when I'm pumping them or when I'm doing whatever, I don't know. But now we got to deal with that issue. So, I was lucky enough to have a day off, lucky enough to have some time to play around out here, and, shit show as usual. Something's gonna go wrong, but you know, just another challenge, just another challenge. So, gonna try to take care of this stuff and get back at it. Probably not more today, but I'm gonna have to do a little digging to see what parts I need to really order and get this thing fixed, and hopefully get these brakes bled, and then move on to the rest of this stuff, because ain't no sense in getting it running if you can't stop it. So that's the plan. But thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll have some good news for you next time we're on.